Go ahead and put your blocks a little closer so it's easy access. So 2 blocks close by. Blanket we can use for later. Unless you want it under hips or something. And as we're starting to lay back, just give your body a couple of really good breaths. Starting to flow. Inhale. Kind of imagine it's washing over your body from toes up to head. Exhale all the way back down. Almost like a little cleansing breath, so give it a couple of rounds. So as this breath is continuing to flow, kind of just washing over our body like an ocean wave, start to connect with more of the sand and the beach, the earth part of that experience. Imagine now that you're laying on the beach and it's that ocean wave that's just kind of washing over you and receiving. Imagine as the tide starts to go away, you're left just laying on the sand. So physically, a big focus that we'll have in our class today is legs and especially hamstrings, as well as psoas, some of these goodies. And I think of these areas as the roots of my body. And so the roots need to connect with the earth, with that sandy, or maybe imagining a richer soil with those kinds of qualities. And so as we're starting to prepare to transition toward our practice here, think of one quality that you can imagine kind of asking for from the earth today, whatever it is that you need. Maybe you need stability in your life, kind of like how when a plant has a good root system, say a tree, when the wind starts to come up, the root system in the earth keep it super stable. So maybe that's what you need in life right now. Or maybe you need more of the healing, the nutrient side of it. All those nutrients in the earth, just inviting them up through your legs to help your body, help things heal. So whatever it is that we need from the earth, let's imagine that our practice today is like us asking the earth to help us out. Give us structure, give us stability, give us safety. Help us slow down a little bit. We're not so rushed. Help us be more grounded, letting the static electricity go. So all these are some of those qualities of the earth. So we're going to root down into that by working on legs more than anything else today. And so to begin, let's start to take knees into the chest. Sometimes we've got some tightness in the back, so if gentle rocking feels really helpful for the body, let it have some good movement. Beautiful. So the first part I want us to take a couple of movements to try to get into are the psoas area. So think of hip flexors. This is what helps us to take a step. So we're moving forward in our life. So first and foremost, for those hip flexors, I want us to just take an easy chance, let both hands go around the right knee, just an easy little hug in. Right leg straightens up to sky. All we have to do for this first easy one is let right leg lower down to hover right above the ground. And then it's that psoas that lifts the leg back up. Bring it all the way to the point where you kind of feel the stretch it's brought in so far. And then bend the knee, hand switch over to right. Left leg up to sky, feel the stretch. And drop down. Lift back up. And switch. So nice, easy one to get us started. It's okay if you're going slow or if you're ready to start picking up the pace. The rhythm is pretty easy. So you choose what's going to work for the body. Start to get the breath to flow with you. Feel where the inhales and the exhales are most useful. Good. So I'm going to count 3 more at the pace that I'm going. If you're going faster, you might be able to get a bonus 4 or 5 in. But here's 3. 3. 2. 2. And 1. And 1. Good. From there, both knees are bent, plants of feet close to the glutes. Take a block. You're going to place it in inner thighs. Inner thighs are going to squeeze into the block. Hands are on the floor by the hips. You're going to take a couple of bridge poses. Again, if you want to go faster than me, that's fine. The idea is trying to undulate up one vertebrae at a time, starting at hips, and then exhale, rolling all the way back down. So fast or slow works, whatever's working for you. Try to remember every now and again to keep the inner thighs squeezing together. And that's just a little bit more activity to warm up the legs. So I'll count another 5 at the pace that I'm going. Again, if you're going faster, great, you get some bonus in. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1, keep squeezing into the block. Beautiful. Rest the hips down. And from here, keep squeezing block into the thighs, or thighs into the block, that one. Take the knees right above the hips. Toes extend out at about a 90-degree angle, and then imagine you're screwing it locked so the knees can't bend any more or less from there. I even like to tuck my thumbs a little bit under the hips with this one. So this one is toes dropping just a little bit closer to the ground. Make sure low back doesn't need to arch, and then bring it right back in. It's that psoas that make the contraction take place in. Good. So toes down just a little bit. Keep the low back on the ground and bring it back in. To keep the low back flat, it requires a lot more core engagement. So that's really helpful for where we're going. Good. Let's take another 5. In. 4. 3. 2. 1. Beautiful. Let the knees bend for just a moment. Hands on the knees. We've got one more, and then we'll take a nice little stretching break for the psoas specifically. easy movement. And when you're ready, straighten the legs up to sky, bump the block up to calves. So legs are trying to muscularly straighten as much as you can. Go bend knees does make this easier, so you have that choice. I personally like that same spot come slightly under the hips to help the low back be flat. And similar to what we just did a moment ago, we lower the legs partway down. Exhale brings us right back up. So you're welcome to continue to go a bit deeper if low back can stay flat. Inhales, exhales. Take another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Free out the thumbs. The block, hold in your hands for just a moment. Plant the feet back down like a bridge pose. And then we're going to lift the hips up, sliding the block right under the hips. So make sure it's not in bumpy vertebrae. It's screwed onto the flat part of the sacrum. Choose the height that's going to work for you. So tall is quite a bit deeper. Lower block might be better. It's really personal based on the back bend, how that feels for your body. But to get that psoas stretch, what we're going to do is slide the right leg further away on the floor. So that right heel gets as far away as it can reach. And as you relax into that shape, you start to feel the front part of the right hip really beginning to open up nice and long. That was the muscle that was required for all the knee lifting type things that we just did. Just send some good breaths, some good relaxation through that area. Slide the right foot in. Left leg takes its turn. That chance to go really far out. Let it slide in for a moment. If you're at the tall height, it might be a little intense. So maybe bump down to medium, but then take a moment for both legs to slide out. Both being a gentle back bend, a huge arch for your whole spine, and also both psoas areas, both hip flexor areas stretching out. Just give us a couple of good breaths before we head on to some deeper parts of the roots. Another good inhale. Exhale, slide the feet in. Lift up the hips to remove the block. And then let the hips kind of shimmy into the ground for a moment. Sometimes the sacrum kind of tilts in a different than normal arrangement when we put it up on a block like that. So then this shimmying kind of helps. It's almost like a chiropractic move. It kind of helps the bones, the sacrum to be just a little bit more aligned. Good. So whenever that starts to feel pretty helpful, pretty good, we're going to take the hands behind the back of the head. Just lift the head up. All we're going to do for a moment is just bring the right knee in, left elbow to the toes. Set it down, second side. Left elbow to right knee, right elbow to left knee, just back and forth. With this easy variation, take another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Both feet down. Rest head for just a breath or 2. And either stick with that variation or adding a little bit more. Crunch up. Right elbow twist to left knee. Left leg goes up to sky. Lowers down. Comes back up. Bends. And then we switch. Switch sides. The knee comes in. Leg up to sky. Lower down. Lift and bend. This holds us in crunch just a little bit longer. So to help the obliques get a little bit stronger through this, think of trying to lift your elbow up as high as it can be maintained. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Resting head down. Let the right leg stretch up to sky. Grab onto it. Little moment for hamstring. And we'll switch to the left leg hamstring stretch. Good. So, right leg, if it's not split long to the ground, slide it long. We're going to start off with nice, slow, straight leg switches, building a little bit more through hamstrings. So right leg comes in, make sure to the hands pull into the stretch. And left leg, we switch to that side, pull into the stretch. It's back and forth, pull. Pull. Not only stretching hamstring, but also including that psoas a bit longer. Here we'll take another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and have the right knee bent, hands clasp around it, left leg drops long to the ground. So from this clasp around right knee, try to pull right knee in close to shoulder. Then start to invite the knee to a nice little twist across the body. You choose how deep to go. This could be about the hip, kind of outer hip stretching, or it could be twisting deeper into the low back stretch. Just find this one that feels good. Okay, start to ease out of this side. Right hip goes back down to ground. Let the right leg stretch up to sky for a moment. Give it another tug in. Helping that hamstring wake up even more. And start to release it all the way down. Once it's relaxed, left feet comes in, hands hug around it, pull that knee in. When you're ready, start to take the twist. Knee cross over the body. Just feel that spine spiral around. Get back down, leg goes back up to sky, give it a good tug. And release. Roll over to your side body that faces you into C. That bottom hand can be supporting the head. Do just a couple of little leg strengthening things from here. So first one, the top leg lifts about level with the hip. We do 10 small circles to one direction and then 10 to reverse. So when you're ready, take 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, reverse, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rest for a moment. These can be bent if needed. You're back in that banana shape, legs slightly forward, top thigh tries to rotate up, the kneecap pointing up as much as it can. So from here, slide the toes up to the knee, and then straighten the leg up. Slowly flex the foot to lower back down. So 9, curl the knee in and develop it out. Flex down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, 1. Rest it down. Like with that one, that was a good one. Good. Just one more. Let's do hot potatoes. So tap the toes twice in front, pop up, twice behind. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bend the knees and just rest. Maybe massaging across the IT band and hip. Yep, head can take a little break. Good. So we're still going to be facing in, but we're switching our head to the other side of the mat. Good. So first one is the 10 circles to each direction. So hip height and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Reset the legs. Develop pace. So the toes slide into the knee. Reach the leg up. Flex to go down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Rest. We're almost done. Okay, last one, hot potatoes, just 5. Tap twice in front, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, and rest. Bend the knees in, maybe rest the head, kind of rub that IT band. Good. So as we press our way up to sit, go ahead and face forward. Take a little stretch for that hip area. So whatever hip is most intense right now, probably the one that was just up. Take that ankle up to the other side. If just sitting back like this isn't enough, you could use the same side hand to push the knee. Whatever's gonna help it out. A couple of breaths. Drop the foot down, second side up. Beautiful. So ankle down. Take it to boat pose. So if hands need to be down, that's fine. If hands are grabbing legs, that's fine. If just holding here is about what we can do, that's fine. If we can reach the toes out and then pull back in using hands or not, we'll take another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab the ankles, pull it into cobbler. Just up enough that right leg can straighten, and let's work into that hamstring for just a moment. The knee could be bent, it could be straight, just easing forward. Let's start to switch to the other leg. Relax down. Okay, so roll the spine up. Let's take it to a kneeling place. We'll set the blanket off to the left side for use in just a moment. Go ahead and take 2 or 3 cat cows, just helping the vertebrae feel good. One more inhale, exhale. Okay, so this movement goes like this. The spine itself mimics that cat cow that we just did. It's going to be the left leg that we're focusing on, and the knee stays bent the whole time. So we take the knee to the nose, spine comes up like the trap, and then when we come up to the cow, the belly arches down, and you arch up so that you're kind of feeling a stretch through the psoas area at the front of that left leg. So take another 5, and arch. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. The leg is straightened out onto the blanket on that left side. Using the blanket on the slippery floor, you can slide out as far as it feels good, probably lowering to elbows. If you don't have the blanket, just take it to kind of like a frog position as much as feels good, but one leg is straight. Good. Slide back in. Okay, switch the blanket over to the right side. And the right knee's the bend shape. I tricked you. One more. Okay, so curl in. Lift up. Good. Take another 5. 4. 3, 2, 1. Good. Now we can set foot on blanket, slide out to the side, drop to elbows. Good. Return back up and in. Beautiful. So drop down to your belly, elbows right under the shoulders. So this is going to be a funky version of an elbow flick. So the difference from normal is normally we have toes tucked when we're in our plank position. This time it's toes pointed. We're pressing the tops of the feet into the ground to create our elbow flick. So that engages some really deep stuff, including hip flexors. So I'm gonna do a countdown from 10. Try the best that you can and try to hold for all time. So when you're ready, push the tops of the feet down, we're up. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Press down, even to get to triangle. Two or 3 more breaths. Coming up, this next section is kind of the peak of class. The This is going to be the last really hard thing that we're doing, but we're building up to the whole thing by doing it piece by piece at a time. So just know if it's hard, take breaks. This can take, you know, we're not rushing through it. After this, we get to do just lots of really good stretches. If you don't have a slippery floor and a blanket, you're just gonna have to do the hop back and forward instead, you'll see the different positions we're in, but you'll have to do a hop instead of the sliding through. So I'll show you the first one, and blocks, you get to kind of choose. So it'll feel more stable if it's at a lower height. It'll help you ultimately go all the way through if it's at the tall height. So you'll see, and you can face your blanket to whatever direction. I would like to have the blanket in a skinny height so that when we try to do the going through part, there's enough space in between the blocks to get the blanket through. So the first section is the back half of it. So we will step our feet onto the blanket. And sometimes it takes a little hop to get the smoothness starting, but we're trying to slide back to plank. And then like a frog leg, curling it right back in through the center. Good. Yep, hops are fine. Good. So we're going to repeat that. Let's go 4 more. So sliding back. And plank. Or back up to the center. Good. And if you need a little wrist break in between, that's great. Here's 3. And in. Good. 2. Last one. Good. You can drop to knees for a second, let the wrist kind of roll out. So the second half of it is taking us from feet underneath us, trying to go to a forward plank and then back. So we're going to try to go for 5 of those. So get the feet back underneath you when you're ready. Again, it's okay if hops are needed to get you started, but we're starting to slide through and in. Now it's 5. If you need to take little breaks in between, that's fine. Here's 4. Good. 3. Keep breathing. 2. And 1. Awesome. Feel free to lower down to a restful spot for a moment. Another moment for wrist rolls. Maybe this time clasp your fingers together. Just pull the left hand back to stretch the right ribs. Switch. Good. So you can already feel a lot of stuff going on in our legs and our roots right now. So we're going to try to go for 5 times the full cycle, meaning we have to go back to plank, and then we have to try to go all the way through and back to the center would take us through 1 rep. It's hard. We can take breaks in between so our wrists are doing okay, but get your feet in a prepped position. And when you're ready, back to plank and through. Okay, so if the transitions from you with the blocks, go ahead and bump it down a height. See if that helps. It might be one of those where you bump it up and down to get it tall when you need to and shorter when you need to. Yeah, go through. You got it, you got it. Okay, you need a break, take a little break. You're ready to go straight through. Here's 4. And always readjust where the blocks are too, scooting them back or whatever. 4. Yep, it's okay if it's not completely smooth. Here's 3. Awesome. The funky section for sure is that's the bottom. That's the part that's like, oh, that transition. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. Take whatever will help you to do it. This one is a super powerful movement that eventually gets us to the point where we could do really powerful hiking poses. So like up to handstand or up to, there's all sorts of powerful, crazy things you can do once you start feeling that core strength strong. So this is our last one. Back and forward. Whew, good work. Let's take a nice little seated position for long moments. Let's take the right hand like a stop sign and pull back all the fingers. Good. Feel the legs like on fire. So much stuff going on. Go ahead and turn that right hand down. This one's the one that'll feel nice. Roll the right wrist. Okay, so left hand, pull back. And drop down to pull under. And roll it out. Good. So I'd like to use the wall for a couple of stretches. I'm just going to mimic what we're doing without actually using the wall because I don't like to get the mirror all dirty. So go ahead and stand up. Scoot your mat all the way up to touch the wall. And with this first one, your feet are going to be slightly forward of the wall. So if the wall were right here, my feet are a full foot or two in front. And then I put my hips back onto the wall. And then going forward, I take my hands to elbow creases and just take an easy forward fold. Feet can be together, so slightly wider is easier. So you can absolutely do that. Just give the legs a couple of good breaths right here. Slow breaths, helping the body remember. Very good, we're safe. We'll start to ease our way up. Sometimes you need to do a half lift and then kind of push away from the wall to stand the rest of the way up. Okay, so now we're going to use the wall for the shoulder opener. Face toward front core, you've got your right hip to the wall. Right hand is on the wall. 2 full rotations circling up. And trace back like a rainbow. If it's too tight, scoot yourself a little bit away from the wall. So that way you can make the whole rotation without having to bend the elbow. So then let's trace back. Another full one, all the way back. And return. And this next one, stay behind you about level with the shoulder. So if you've got the chest facing to the wall, that's fine. That might be about where the shoulder's at. If you want more, try to peel the left shoulder further away from the wall. Good. Or even step away from the wall whenever you. Good. So take one more breath right here. Exhale, walk away from the wall to release. Swing that right arm across your chest, pull it in, getting the other part of the shoulder stretch. Good. Shake or roll the shoulders out. Good, and turn around and face the other way. You've got left hip to the wall. And 2 full circles. You can scoot further away from the wall if needed. Trace back. And forward. Back. And forward. This time stay when you go back. Need more? It's the right shoulder and opening for walk away from wall to release. Swing it across your chest. Good. Now that our wrists feel good, there's a big one I really want to use the wall for, and this is the wall to help us with a nice little standing split. So what you're going to do is get your heels up to the baseboards when you're in a downward facing dog. So you'll walk the hands forward, heels up to the baseboard. From that shape, go ahead and walk your toes a little more forward. I think that'll be more comfortable. Yeah. So then right leg lifts up to the sky, catch it on the wall, and that's your standing split. So if you need to make it easier, fingers walk toward mirror. If you want to make it deeper in the splits, hands walk backwards to the heel. So if you're in a good spot, yep, beautiful. You choose how intense. If you're in a good spot, this is one to stay for about 3 or 4 full slow breath cycles. When you feel ready to drop down, it's a child pose for a moment. Drop down, child pose, especially let the wrist have a nice little break for another moment. We'll get the second side in a moment, but resting first. Good. I usually do a toe tuck, yeah. But whatever is, if pointed feels more comfortable for your foot on the wall, that's fine. But yeah, usually I tuck so it's like the ball of my foot on the wall. Yeah. Okay, whenever you're ready for second side, take the downward facing dog shape. Left leg lifts up. Catch. Yep. So for me, that's the most comfortable, but you can always try flipping it and see if you like it. Yeah. Good. So the goal is to try to stay about as long as we were on the other side. So about 5 or 6 more slow breaths. If one leg has to be bent, try to make it not be the bottom leg. That one's the one that's in the stretch deeper, so that's the one we're trying to get longer. Good. Slow, deep breaths. So it's the same as down dog. Some people make it there, some people can't. So you don't have to be flat on the floor. Yeah. Beautiful. So lowering down, child pose for a couple of good breaths. Beautiful efforts. Just a couple more hip and leg stretches. So come to a comfortable sit place. Let's cradle out right leg. Just rock it out a couple of times. When that hip feels pretty good, drop it to shin stack or cross leg. And then find the hands on the floor, slide forward. So as we're here getting closer to the end, think of the progression of building up the root strength initially from a baby. A baby, when you first start to put their feet on the ground, their feet just like don't know what to do with it. But eventually they get to the point where they kind of bounce with you, and eventually they can lock their legs straight. And eventually they get to the point where they can kind of stand and eventually start to take steps. So there's a lot of progression that it takes to get this leg and root strength. Go ahead and, by the way, straighten right leg for a moment. Drop back down. One more hamstring stretch for this right leg. So think of these roots and how strong they already are. Think of how alive they've felt as we've gone through our class today. So here's the moment to start kind of tuning into the intuition to know what these roots want from us now. Different plants have different systems. They require different things. Go ahead and come back up, slide the right leg in, bring the left hip, give it a couple rubs. When you drop it down, it's shin stack or cross leg, slide forward and through. So for that root system, maybe your legs, perhaps you have a lifestyle where you get to sit down for long periods of time. So maybe your roots want you to get up and stand and walk around once an hour. Maybe that's what your roots need from you. Maybe taking walks and hikes are what your roots need from you. Or sometimes just putting your legs up and resting a little bit if you've been on your feet so much. So different roots require different things. Go ahead and straighten left leg out. Give that good release forward. Just kind of take the next few minutes. We're heading towards Shavasana to try to listen to your roots. What do they need from you? What can you do to help them the best? To be able to carry us through our life for many more years to come. Two more good deep breaths. Flowing in. Out. So from here, we start to prepare for our Shavasana pose. If your roots want you to take a normal Shavasana laying on the ground, that's fine. Since we're scooted up to the wall today, you have an additional variation if you want, and that would be scooting your hips up to the wall to do legs up the wall. We have an option to use the blocks to make the wall push your legs into a deeper stretch, so I'll help you with it. Go ahead and take legs up the wall. Good. Make sure that blanket's in a good spot where it's comfortable. Beautiful. So if when you're getting the legs up, that stretch right there is enough, just stay. If you want the block under your heels to get the stretch further, you're going quite as far. Okay, so keep in close. That's the way to get deeper too. Oops. I'm good and pass it up. Right, here's that felt too much. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're welcome. So as we're settling into these next few minutes, maybe envision, maybe you've done this, going to a beach, and when you kind of bury yourself in the sand, you kind of feel at one with the earth. It's kind of a bunch of your body, maybe arms, legs, maybe belly, just kind of covered up in the sand. Just imagine how comforting that moment was when you were a kid. Comforting because the earth is heavy, nurturing, calming. Just take these slow, deep breaths, imagining those are the qualities that are coming to us now. Straight from the earth. We'll start to head out gradually. You've got the blocks, go ahead and release. Maybe your legs want just a couple of movements with legs up the wall, or maybe you're ready for fetal position already, letting some blood rush back into the legs. So either way, take just a nice restful position or two. Just a couple of easy breaths. It's going to be a full 5 or 6 to get some of that blood to rush back. It's slow and easy, just like the quality of earth. Eventually coming up to a comfortable seated place when you're ready. Almost like a little wish. We think of that quality of earth that we'd like to have a little bit more of in our life. Maybe groundedness, maybe slowing down, maybe that nurturing, healing quality. So whatever it is that we'd like to take as an attribute from earth, but envision just accepting that, taking that right in, wrapping up our time with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. We be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.